Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Red-haired Shanks is one of the most powerful pirates in One Piece, being one of the 4 emperors of the sea, but also potentially the greatest master of Haki in the world, resembling or even surpassing Goldie Roger, the most powerful pirate and former pirate king. Because of his mastery of Haki, this allowed Shanks to do something that very few other characters have demonstrated the ability to do, and that's when he caused his sword to become imbued with flames. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how Shanks managed to make his sword become imbued with flames, how this might have been possible, and what the possibility of seeing this happen again within the work might be. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it continues to motivate us to make more content. If you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, the movie One Piece Film Red was released quite some time ago, but along with it came several interesting revelations that are part of the canonical history of One Piece, and even revealed some of Shanks' techniques. During a certain scene in the film, Shanks uses his sword imbued with flames to defeat an enemy, and it seems that this technique is very powerful, although it's only used twice in the film. Now we don't exactly know how Shanks manages to make these flames with his Haki, but it's most likely through his armament or even Conqueror's Haki that gives Shanks the ability to fuse flames into his swords, and possibly even his punches. A good comparison would be something like Luffy's Red Hawk, where he's able to create the flames in a different way, maybe even with an advanced Ryo technique, where Shanks is not only able to cut his enemies, but also add the power of flames with his attacks. And he can do this from close range or even long distances, it seems. So now we're going to talk about the individual moments, but we are going to try and avoid any spoilers, at least as much as possible for those who haven't seen the movie, although it's still going to contain some important information that happened in the movie. The first time Shanks uses the flame on his sword in the film is when he goes to face the great demon Thoth during the past. So after certain events cause the creature's return, it looks like Shanks' pirates are laying on the ground defeated. But it turns out that some of Shanks' pirates are in a dream world trying to defeat a creature, and Shanks is in the real world confronting the very same creature, causing damage from both sides, the dream world and the real world. And they manage to cause the creature enough damage that he's weakened through their attacks. And in a pretty epic scene, Shanks runs at Thoth with his sword imbued in flame and manages to easily cut the creature and destroy, thus preventing a great catastrophe from further happening. The second time we see Shanks use the flames on his sword takes place several years later after the confrontation with Thoth. A little bit after the start of Uda's concert, Shanks and the rest of his pirates arrive on Elegy to try and stop her because they realize what she's about to do. When Uda sees her father again after being abandoned for so long and not understanding what had truly transpired on the island, she orders her unconscious fans to attack them, not necessarily looking to kill, but at least wear them down and keep them from interfering. Despite the aggressive attack, Shanks orders his crew not to harm the civilians and protect them from the projectiles that were being fired by the Marines, who were also there to try and stop Uta. Now he prevented Kizaru from directly attacking her, and he also criticized the Marines' decision for attacking civilians who were just being controlled by an outside force. After Uta manages to awaken Tot Musica, we see Shanks and his crew fighting off the demon's many subordinates, and this also comes with Katakuri's help. And they're all using advanced Conqueror's Haki. It's Shanks and Yasop and Katakuri, and amazing displays of technique. As the crew on the outside are able to land blows on Tot Musica, the Straw Hats are able to do the very same thing on the inside of the dream world. And as they work, they understand that it's an essential part in Tot Musica's destruction, where they have to team up and deliver the final blow simultaneously to finally bring down the demon. Luffy, who is in the dream world, is using his Gear 5th transformation, while Shanks in the real world uses his sword of flames. But it has a difference because it creates a kind of dragon-shaped flame to carry out the attack. This is when we're treated to an incredible scene of Shanks and Luffy simultaneously attacking the demon Tot Musica with the zenith of their powers. And this is also the last time we see Shanks use this flaming sword technique. We can't know for sure if these flames are due to the fact that Shanks has just got extremely high levels of Haki, or if it's just an innate ability of his sword Griffin, because it is one of the 12 supreme great swords in the world of One Piece. Even though Roger was an extremely skilled user of Haki, we never really saw him use these release flames just like Shanks does, which could mean that these flames are created from his sword, or perhaps that Shanks managed to achieve a level of Haki which perhaps Roger couldn't reach, or at least didn't use as often. After all, Roger managed to become the greatest pirate of all with just his Haki, managing to take down multiple powerful enemies throughout his journey as a pirate. And Shanks, obviously being a part of his crew, was inspired by his captain, so he used the same type of fighting style as he did. And with that style, he's managed to become as powerful, if not more so, than his former captain. The flame technique overall might be something that comes from that Conqueror's coding, or ability to use Conqueror's Haki in your attacks, being an extremely powerful and unique form where we've only seen a few instances of that level of power being used. And as we've only recently learned about Conqueror's coding, we have to know and expect that there's much more evolutionary capacity for this technique, allowing the user to unlock different skills and increase their mastery of the technique overall, becoming immensely powerful. And this is something that Shanks obviously did, because as we've seen throughout our story, Shanks is one of the few people who not only has all three types of Haki, but seems to be able to use them at the highest level possible, making him one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful and most dangerous pirate in the One Piece world. I mean, even Whitebeard himself praised Shanks for his Haki when he used it on his visit, with Jozu stating that it was impressive and dangerous. Ultimately, the thing that sets Shanks apart is his possession of an immense mastery in the use of Conqueror's Haki, that rare type of Haki that only 1 in several million people in the world can use, because you have to be born with it. The first hint we ever got about Haki's existence is when we saw Shanks scare away a Sea King with a single glare, causing the giant beast to run for its life. Another example we saw was when Shanks went to visit Whitebeard. As he boarded the Moby Dick, which was his flagship, Shanks was able to render dozens of men unconscious. And these weren't just any men, these were people who were experienced men capable of surviving in the New World. Meanwhile, the flagship itself, a ship capable of surviving the harsh New World conditions, was damaged by the force of his presence and stunned everyone around him. One of the very few comparisons we have as well is that Shanks's Conqueror's Haki was at least twice as potent as Luffy's was at the time of the Fishman Island arc. Luffy was able to knock out 50,000 members of the new Fishman pirates, where Shanks could have knocked out all 100,000. More recently, during the Wano arc, Shanks released a massive blast of Conqueror's Haki that paralyzed Admiral Ryukugyu, stopping the Admiral in his tracks even though he was miles away at sea, without ever needing to set foot in the country. Jinbei stated that such a display of Haki was monstrous. This demonstrates that Shanks really has a level of control that we have not seen in any other character, showing that he might even have perfect control over Conqueror's Haki, where not even Big Mom or Kaido had ever demonstrated that incredible level of ability. It's this more than anything that convinces us that Shanks probably surpassed Roger in Haki mastery, because Shanks was his apprentice, and he managed to learn the techniques that Roger possessed at a very young age, which gave Shanks time to grow and nurture those abilities into something that Roger could have never dreamed of. Shanks has been shown to possess a very powerful technique called observation killing, an advanced observation technique that allows Shanks to control his own presence and prevents other people from using future sight. He is the only character who's been ever shown to have this ability, being something really unique that even the admirals during the One Piece film Red feared, demonstrating that this technique really is at a fully different, more advanced level. Shanks is also an extremely skilled user of armament Haki, because during the Battle of Marineford, using only his Haki-infused sword, he was easily able to block Akainu's magma-enhanced punch, which was powerful enough to burn a hole through foes like Ace, Jinbei, and even the toughest man there, Whitebeard. Furthermore, the sword didn't suffer a single bit of damage. No burning, no melting. So this demonstrates that this level of armament Haki was able to surpass the Haki and Devil Fruit ability of an admiral. And finally, it goes without saying that Shanks is also an extremely masterful user of observation Haki, where he has the ability to sense the presence of anyone even if he's miles away. And we really don't even know the limit of Shanks's actual ability with observation, because he might be able to perfectly see his opponents anywhere in the world, and that might be the secret to how he's been so successful and avoided major conflict. Just like the other two kinds of Haki, observation Haki has a lot of diversity in it, being one of the largest demonstrated so far, allowing Shanks to not only see multiple seconds into the future, he's also able to stop anyone else from being able to see themselves. So as we can see, Shanks is extremely skilled with Haki, and it was through this ability that he was able to maybe develop and learn that technique where he could apply flames to his sword or any of his attacks during combat, with the final big battles coming in the story of One One Piece, we know we're gonna get to see Shanks join the main story and confront powerful enemies. So we're gonna get to see Shanks use his flames within the original story and the manga with the rest of the main cast. And it might even reveal the origin of these flames and how powerful it can be. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now like to know what you think about it. Which part of Shanks' kit are you most fascinated by? Is it the conquerors, is it the armament, or is it the observation? And also, when do you think we're gonna get to see our favorite red-haired captain join the main line of the story? With everything going on Egghead Island, on Sphinx Island, and even everything that's about to go down towards Fullerleg with Garp and company there, we gotta know that Shanks is gonna join up and cross paths. Could it be Elbaf or somewhere else? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.